have officially completed my last day of clinical in nursing school. Good morning, guys. It is Sunday and it is now 6:19 in the morning, and I am at Krispy Kreme's to pick up donut holes as refreshments for the nurses so that they can enjoy themselves while listening to our presentation today. Can I just get a dozen glaze or mixed? Glaze. Alrighty, thank you. These birds are so loud.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Back on the road, headed to campus. You probably can't see me, but today is my last clinical of nursing school. I have spent a lot of clinical hours at the hospital this entire year. When I had my clinical early in the program, from January to about June, I had 2 clinical days per week, every week, 8-hour shifts. And then in the summer, I had 1 clinical a week for 12 hours. And then in the fall, I had 2 clinicals a week for 12 hours. So that's a lot of time spent in the hospital. Thankfully, almost all of my clinicals have been on Tuesday, Wednesdays. My leadership clinicals, these were the only ones where I ever had to go in on a weekend. But it's over now. I get my weekends back until I get a job, but that's okay. Today is my last day of free labor. No more free labor. No more working as a nurse for free. That is a big turning point in my life right now. Huge. And I've been waiting for this day to come since I started nursing school. Like, you know that meme you see where it's like waits to get into nursing school, and then second day after the first day they're like waiting to get out of nursing school. That was me. Actually, I was more like waiting to get out of nursing school before I even started nursing school. Okay, so I'm gonna listen to music now, so I will see you after clinicals. Hello guys. Oh, I need to put my glasses on because I cannot drive without them. It is 7:30. I have officially completed my last day of clinical in nursing school. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. My feet hurt, my back hurt, kind of hungry. I have to use the bathroom, but it's over. I've learned so much. I had the same nurse from yesterday who had before. Her name's Camila. I don't know if I ever mentioned that, but she was amazing, and I will miss her dearly. She was a really great preceptor. One cool thing that I learned today was about HIPEC, and the acronym is HIPEC. It's a procedure that is done. They remove any tumors that are already present, and then they open you up and pour hot chemo or hot chemotherapy into your peritoneal cavity, which is insane. And they leave it there for an hour and a half, and then it's removed, and hopefully the chemo was able to destroy any residual cancer cells. And actually the chemo is not necessarily hot. It's, when I looked it up in the literature, it was warm, but still, just the thought of it is kind of scary. And one of the patients I was caring for today was scheduled to have that done later on this week, and the patient was just very worried and fairly young, and it was just really hard, trying to tell someone. And this type of procedure is basically like a last resort kind of procedure. So if this doesn't work, then more than likely they're gonna switch to palliative care versus curative care, which means they're just gonna treat the symptoms instead of trying to treat the disease. And it was just very was really sad, it was really sad. So that's one thing I dealt with. And the other thing I dealt with was that one of my patients today, who was so lovely, like, I just feel like I have the best patients. This patient is a Jehovah's Witness, and they had the Whipple procedure done, which I mentioned in one of my previous videos. And a little bit about the Whipple is basically they can remove parts or whole organs from your abdomen. So they can remove pieces of your spleen, your liver, your pancreas, your colon. It's basically almost like a puzzle. You just take a little here and you take a little there, and you kind of just put everything back together. So almost kind of like a Frankenstein surgery, if you will. So this patient was a Jehovah's Witness, and they had the Whipple done. And if you didn't know, people who practice that religion aren't allowed to receive blood products of any kind. So this particular patient had a very low hemoglobin, like it was a critical value. And for a person that does not practice that faith, they would have just received blood products. But because this patient does practice this particular faith, they could not receive blood products. So instead, they were basically given iron and Procrit to stimulate their own body to reproduce blood cells. And what was interesting about that was that although the family as well as the patient had communicated to hospital staff, like the social worker, their faith and their beliefs on blood products, somewhere along the line that information was never dispersed to the whole interdisciplinary team. So like doctors and nurses, other people that would need to know this kind of stuff. So it was interesting to see how information can be left out, and critical information at that, because had this patient not been vigilant and they received blood products, that could have been a huge mistake, huge mistake. But that was one issue that I saw in practice that we talked about in school, and it was fun to interact with that patient. And again, such a lovely personality. Their family was wonderful. They were extremely loved, and I enjoyed caring for this person on my last day of clinical. Any other experiences I want to mention? My A presentation. So today we went to different floors in our hospital, and as a group, my clinical group, because we're at the same hospital, but we're all on different floors. We came together and we worked on one project, and then we went to our respective floors and presented the project that we worked on. And the topic that we chose to present to the nurses was care of PICC lines. So we went over different types of PICC lines and central lines, how to maintain sterility, dressing changes, how often these dressings need to be changed, the different types of dressings, signs and symptoms of infection, what to educate the patient about when they're being discharged with one of these lines, and what kind of lines can you even be discharged with. For example, you can't go home with a subclavian PICC line, and what to do if the PICC line breaks off, or maybe it's been removed and pieces of the PICC line are retained in the vein, which is like not good. It's like the worst case scenario, what that patient should do. And the SASH method for administering medications through a PICC line, which is a saline flush, any medication, another saline flush, and a heparin flush. But the heparin flush, that's only given depending on the facility that you're at, because the facility that I'm at, they don't even use heparin. But we thought to mention it anyways. So that's what we went around and explained to the hospital staff, and honestly, I feel like they kind of already knew most of this information. But it's just a nice refresher, or something to know. Now my sole focus is preparing for the NCLEX, and I've already mentioned that I will be using UWorld as my NCLEX review course of choice, and I already paid the fee to register with the state that I live in now, and it was, I can't remember, it was over $100, but it wasn't, it was like $115, something like that. So I paid that, And then I made an account with Pearson VUE, which one thing that was kind of weird was that, normally when you make an account, like an online account, you just input your information and boom, like the account is automatically made. But with Pearson VUE, it actually took a data process. So I guess they review your request to make an account with Pearson VUE, and then they can decide whether to approve or deny your request. And of course, mine just approved, but that's the first time I've ever had something like that happen to me when registering with an online database, regardless of whether it was like a testing site or not. But I made the account. I have not paid the $200 Pearson VUE fee, and I also have to pay $85 for another background check and fingerprinting, I believe. So that's what I've been doing as far as NCLEX prep. As far as tomorrow goes, I have class. This will be my last class of nursing school. We have 2 more group presentations to give. I don't know what the topics are on, but after the presentations, we're gonna have like a farewell potluck. Everyone's bringing something. I haven't really decided what I'm gonna bring, which is kind of crazy. Maybe I'll just bring candy because there's like 30 of us, and it's like we had clinicals this weekend. I'm definitely not gonna go home and cook, and there's nothing I could buy that probably already isn't going to be purchased, if that makes sense. Like, people are bringing cupcakes, people are bringing cookies, croquetas, lots of different things. So honestly, I'm just gonna bring candy and someone's already covering utensils and drinks. So we're gonna have our farewell potluck, which will be sad, but a good kind of sad, because we're happy that it's over and we knew that this was gonna happen eventually. We also talked about hanging out later on after class, like Monday night. We all just like go out, maybe have dinner or like go have drinks or something like that. Because outside of nursing school, a lot of us have become really good friends. So it's just like our last real goodbye where we can actually spend time with everyone before we all graduate. Because the next time we'll see each other after tomorrow is pending. We'll be with our families then, so it's not like we can really focus on each other. And then after that, anything's fair game. I know a lot of classmates that don't plan on even staying in the state that we live in. They have plans to move, and even if they don't leave the state, they may move to another city. So things are gonna change. Things are gonna change a lot. So we just want one last moment to be able to enjoy each other's company and reminisce about the last year and everything that we've gone through, and all those inside jokes that no one else will understand unless they were in nursing school with you. Yeah. That's what we want. Hello to all my new subbies. I really appreciate everyone for subscribing and liking my videos. It makes me happy. I love when you guys comment. I love responding back to you. Normally I comment when I respond back when I get the email saying, oh, you got a comment. But lately, I haven't been getting emails for all of the comments that I receive. So sometimes I have to log into my YouTube account and get the notification through there, or I'll actually click on the video and then I'll scroll down and I'm like, wow, I didn't get any notifications about these comments. And these people probably think I'm just this rude girl that doesn't respond. You get me? So if that was the case, please know that there's a high likelihood that I probably did not see your message, and as soon as I do, I will respond. But I'm driving home now, and I want to listen to music, and I don't really have much else to say. So